This is ACOFAE. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from Twilight and New Moon with mentions of Underworld, The Vampire Diaries, and HOFAS. For full list, please see show notes.
Everybody, and welcome to A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, your weekly deep dive into the fantasy, literature, and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are discussing the cult classic New Moon in the Twilight Saga. This is the movie based on the book by Stephanie Meyer.
And this is, if you caught our last episode with Twilight, you know that Laura and I have read the books. I've seen all of them. Laura stopped watching after Twilight. So this was your first and second. I came out to visit you and we spent the weekend watching this because you were like, I need to watch it first. And it was the best experience to have you live react as we were watching this. Keep in mind, when I went like opening night, midnight with like one of my coworkers at this time, and you were like, I need to get a grasp on things. I need to rewatch it so I can like give my all for this episode. And boy, do we have a lot of commentary that might not be so popular to the masses.
To the masses. What was it like watching this title card of on, moon, ew, moon. That's my favorite. That's my favorite one. Ew, moon. That's the best one. Before we get to, of course, the title, New Moon. I couldn't get past that. I was a little lost at that.
You were laughing. You were like, if this is called New Moon, why is there a full moon? And as it started to eclipse, spoiler, eclipse.
Hey.
You were like, oh, new moon, no moon.
No, yeah, I get it now. I get it. Ew, moon, I think, though, is fabulous. You want to talk about things. Jessica Marie clocked the pattern so fucking fast. She clocked this so fast. Like, of course, this movie opens with a Romeo and Juliet voiceover. Thank you for this. But it is the pattern right in front of us because we also have the scene of Bella, rushing to stop Edward from his untimely death part 2. Death. And, she's running, our voiceover or whatever. Then we're in our field with Gran, and Jess is like, oh, that's the pattern. That's the pattern right there. And that absolutely is. You clocked it. You are on top of it. Yes. As always, in awe of you.
No, because I didn't with the first one. Because we had to like work through it. But then, if you don't think about it, it's later solidified. These violent delights, these violent ends, blah blah blah. But it's later solidified. New Moon spoilers, everyone. Later in the book / movie, that he goes to sacrifice himself because he thinks and believes Bella is dead, and doesn't want to live in a world without Bella in it.
And doesn't want to Google the town's obits.
Oh, that's right, because Google exists. We know this is confirmed from the first movie where Bella was looking up things in like all the
research.
The lore, her vamp lore research, yeah.
And even still, aren't you a vampire? Can't you just like go whoosh to the morgue and like whoosh and see for yourself? Like he's in Rio. Like it would not take that long. Anyway, I just,
you have like all of these connections. Your dad was the doctor of the tower. Call somebody.
Just call somebody. Call the hospital. You fucking moron. Like what?
Also, do vampires, I can't remember. We have to talk about it. And maybe we talked about it in the first one. Do they not compel? Because they're not compelling as much as they could.
No.
And should.
No, they are not. So they must not. And let me tell you, before we even go any further in Ew Moon, I love Jane. I love Jane.
Dakota Fanning.
And I want her story and her and Michael and Jamie. I want the three of them have their own spin-off series.
You just want like their prequel.
I do. I just want their prequel.
Voltairy prequel.
Or them just living their daily life, because like it sounds amazing and fabulous. They love law, the arts, creativity.
Yeah, and it's like there is still some sort of order, and I feel like we talked about this in Shadowhunters, specifically when Magnus was going through his vampire time in Paris. But I love that Michael Sheen Arrow, that character, is known to be like the head of the Voltairy, but then it's when Jane has some demands that everybody's actually scared.
Yeah, and of course we love Michael Sheen. We love Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen appearing now for the second time on the podcast. The first being probably Lucian in Underworld. Love that man.
You were kicking your feet with giddiness. And editor Sam, he was working and he came out of the room to be like, what? And all he kept saying was like, do you know who that is?
Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? Do you know how much fun? He argues with David Tennant about this. I was in Twilight. I was in Harry Potter. Oh, it's very funny. It's very funny stuff. Okay, no, we're back in Ew Moon.
I'm gonna giggle every time you say that.
I have to say, I guess I'll say up front before we get into it even more, that Jacob is the only voice of reason in this whole movie. Jacob and Charlie, my shirt, Charlie, King Charlie here. King Charlie. We'll get into King Charlie, but Jacob is the voice of reason from start to finish, top to bottom. Like, he is just like, yo, Bella, your obsession with aging is fucking weird. It's weird. And Edward's like, you're 18, whatever. And Jacob's like, it's weird. You're being weird. And I like that. I like Jacob. I'm team Jacob. And this field opener of Bella being Gran and being old, jump scare. But like, I understand. I understand. Like, everyone, I think, kind of freaks out when they turn 18. But like, I just can't. I do, though, like where Bella's like, well, you're an old man. Like, you're a creep. Why am I attracted to you? Let's reflect on that a little bit more.
But it's funny because, and I think we loosely talked about it when we were watching it, and I go, okay, playing devil's advocate, with the age, I'm using air quotes, age gap romance. Like, it's okay when we talk about Faye, and it's okay when we have our other paranormal, what you had said it so like eloquently before about like putting a species, more or less, moral and ethic codes onto somebody else. But at the same time, the vampires are following a human code here because they're living as them. No.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I find the Cullens to be creepy. So I cannot get behind the attraction. I think everything about them is creepy as fuck. Including Jasper just standing there in his long ass coat, looking about 1,000 years old, talking to Bella about her party in school. It is ridiculous. Okay, no. Plot though. Bella's dreaming. She's old. She wakes up. It's her senior year. Okay, she's 18. It's her birthday. King Charlie.
What an entrance, sir. What an entrance. You come through that door, you give your daughter those gifts, and not only does he say, because I'm sure you clocked this too, that it's always like the mother gets the gifts and then the dad kind of like adds his name to it. No, your mom, she worked with me. She matched my gift. I've been here for you this whole time. And she's like, I didn't ask for gifts because I'm just that girl. And he goes, well, mine's not wrapped, so it doesn't count. Gift. Anyway, I love you. You're my everything. And he's just like, he's the best dad. He's the best dad.
Yeah, he's beyond the best dad. He is the star of this movie to me personally. He calls Bella out on her shit. He's concerned. He's communicative. He's an active member in society. He goes through tragedy. His friend dies, and Bella, all she does is not give a single shit that her dad's friend died, and 2, fucks off again.
Oh my God.
And 3, was ready to fuck off with Edward at the drop of a fucking hat.
Time and time again, his family, which also I have a problem, we want to talk about problems with the Cullens. They're dumb. I will put it out there, at least in my, eldest daughter context. They're like, oh, Carlisle is 10 years older than he looks, and people are going to start questioning. Carlisle is a doctor who has access to Botox and plastic surgery, sir. So that I'm going to negate your question, any kind of reasons. But then beginning of senior year, all of a sudden he's like, our family's going to move. And she's like, cool, I'm coming with you. What?
No. I can't. But if we do want to talk about crazy things that are happening, Jacob showing up at Bella's school on her birthday to give her a dream catcher. Sir, you don't even go here. Sir, it is 7 a.m, sir.
But no. Asking Edward for permission to be like, oh, there's somebody waiting to say hi to you.
Actually, I think the line is, and I think it's someone needs you. Which is a gut punch later when he says that he doesn't, or someone wants you. Someone wants you. And then later he says I don't want you. I mean, Edward, king of edging, has his own little perfect.
You did say that. He's like, I told you not to come. And she was like, I didn't.
She's like, I want to come. He's like, I don't want you to come. Okay, Edward, king of edging. Jesus Christ. But okay.
It just tickles me so much. We have to watch them all together.
Woo. I mean, I know we're all Mormon, but woo. Okay.
You just need a little soak. That's all.
A little in the ear action. It is fine. It's fine. Okay. But Jake is at school and he's giving a dream catcher. Very sweet, if not weird, because it is 7 a.m. Jacob is, he's getting buff, right?
She clocks him too, ooh,
yeah.
Okay, steroids. We see what's up. And he goes, and he does, and I love the banter he puts back on her. He goes, you know what, if you called me, it wouldn't seem like this drastic change.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know what, whatever. This is where we have our kind of plot building, saying that he is, riding the rabbit. It's not very fast, but it goes. So he's our mechanic boy. Good for him. Our school. Okay, this is very fun. We go from school to party very quickly with absolutely no transition whatsoever. But at school, we are invited to the party at the Cullens' house at 7. And then we have just Edward and Bella talking in the back of class, which I know bothered you, Jess.
Yeah, I just didn't understand, and I wasn't like a front of the classroom person until undergrad, but like you have this couple in the back, and it's like they have, you know how you have those tandem bikes? It felt like a tandem desk where they were just like all up on each other, cuddling and holding hands, and I don't know what high school everybody else went to, but that would not fly, which also is clearly the reason why they're the ones who were called out in the back of the classroom. Okay, you two. Edward, what's going on in this part of the movie? What was said? Can you reiterate the iambic pentameter that Shakespeare is using? And the most boring Romeo and Juliet that's out there. Shameless plug to go listen to our Baz Luhrmann episode.
The thing that's so crazy about this is we have like the whole plot, but like, of course, Bella is not like other girls. She hates being celebrated. She hates it. Oh my God. And Juliet's perfect if you love that stupidly beautiful thing. But this is the plot, because Edward is saying that Romeo is just being stupid, right? He's like, imagine the guilt and like all of this. And he's like, but I do envy Romeo one thing. I envy him the suicide. Okay, Edward, red flag. What? And she's like, huh? Okay. He's like, well, I needed a plan. What? I was going to go provoke the Votori. I was going to go to Italy. What? She's like,
He's
what?
Just like dumping lore.
He's like, dump.
Yeah.
Dump.
Like, here's the Voltaire. They're like the closest thing that we have to royalty. They, the one thing that's really important to them is to keep organized chaos, be unhinged, and never tell anybody that vampires exist. Because talking about chaos and unhinged, the Voltaire live in the city that celebrates the extinction of vampires.
Michael Sheen would. He loves that shit.
He loves theatrical shit like that. He lives for the flair. He
lives for the drama. And of course, Jamie Campbell Bower has never seen toner in his life in this movie. Amazing. But suddenly, for no reason at all, we have transitioned back to the Cullens' house, and we're all dressed up for the party. And Edward is continuing to say, like, you are the only thing, Bella, that keeps me alive. If I am, as much alive as I am, the only thing that
therapy.
Boy needs a lot. The only thing that can hurt me, Bella, is you. But my job is to like protect me. And Bella says the most out of pocket thing that I could possibly imagine. If you change me into a vampire, I could protect you. I'm sorry. What about the vampire process makes you so fucking confident that you will come out of that? Okay.
Also, she doesn't know, like we know as the reader and as the viewer watching all the movies, and like even with vampire lore, she hasn't gotten this far in her vampire lore knowing that a baby vamp is like so strong and so powerful when they're first turned. But she doesn't know that. She's just thinking, oh, make me a vampire and I can protect you.
Here's the thing. Do I respect the hustle of pestering your vampire boyfriend to turn you until he finally caves? Yes, I do. I respect the hell out of that.
I think
Absolutely.
we all would.
Yeah, of course. But, Alice says later that I'll do it. She'll do it. I'll do it. So, like, here's the other part of it, though. And I think is part of the bigger conversation. Not that we're saying anything new about Twilight, obviously, but Bella is so tunnel vision on Edward that she cannot see anything beyond him. And then in this movie, she's wrapped in her depression and she just uses people to feel better. People and things to feel better, like throughout her depression, which is like, go through it, girl. It's fine. But like Alice is right there the whole time. That's your bestie, girl. Like, why aren't you having this conversation with her as well? Like, all option. Here's the thing. If you want it that badly, explore all your options.
Yeah, that part she didn't hustle enough. And this is the part where we both said, you're a fake Virgo sun. Because
she's a terrible Virgo sun.
Canonically, her birthday is September 13th. And I'm sorry, you're going to say, Emmett was so ready to make her his sister. Like, put yourself in harm's way where there's no choice that Carlisle has to save you. So I think there were just so many different avenues and she explored none of them.
Yeah, absolutely none. And that is just so frustrating. But again, all she sees are these boys.
But this also goes into like, you know, we've talked about in past episodes about like, the build of emotions and, you know, and the hormones and the big feelings that come with, you know, being a teenager, being in high school, having like these big relationships and this is the love of my life. And now knowing, and then it's like, I've, you know, stumbled across BYU talk from time to time. And there are stories there people say like, my roommate went on a date 5 days later, they're engaged. So like, knowing that context, it amplifies this on top of the big feelings that we've already discussed in the hormones and everything that's happening.
I don't know if it just makes you stupid though, because like
your frontal lobe is not developed yet.
But like, if you want it that badly, you would find a way. You know what
100%.
I mean? Like
100%.
Like I would think being this young would make you more resourceful and like
and delusional about how you're like, I can conquer anything. Absolutely. Yeah. We've had that conversation. You're like, wow, where did that delusion come from? Because I was unstoppable. And then you're like, oh, I was not fully developed yet.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's continue this. We're at our terrible party, and it's awkward, it's boring as hell, and Edward ends up throwing Bella into, Edward, trying to help, makes it worse, throws Bella into glass and she cuts the shit out of herself. Carla has to stitch her up, but Jasper loses his mind over this. Okay. I, again, have to agree with Jacob later on where he's like, why are you apologizing for bleeding? Because here's the thing. I don't think Damon would ever. Like, Damon Salvatore would not do this. No. He would not do this. He would not freak out over a paper cut. It would not be a whole thing. Like, it's not, because
and he has human blood. He's not like vegan. I say vegan for lack of a better word, like Stefan is.
When Edward is driving Bella home after this terrible party, and he's like, you know, a normal boyfriend wouldn't do this. A normal boyfriend wouldn't have to fight the urge to kill you. Again, like, dude, you can. Here's the other part is like, you can solve your own problem. But also, we get the introduction of the soul part of it. And Carlisle tells Bella, like, you know, Edward believes that, like, he's, you know, everybody's damned and that you lose your soul when you do this. Bella is so fast to shit on Edward's fundamental core beliefs and be like, I don't believe that. So, like, you can do it anyway. And he's like,
this is what I think and what I say goes, because that's just my mentality. Well, that's wrong. What you're thinking is wrong.
It's just again, she's young. It just highlights their difference. But those are his like core fundamental beliefs, and she's like, yeah, no, though that's dumb. And it's not real, and I don't believe that. So just do it anyway. And I don't know. I just find that to be like a wild ask and like really disrespectful. But I guess she's a child, but he's an old man. So like, but here's my point though. Dramatic child, dramatic old man does not have to have this, like, this goodnight kiss is painful. It is painful.
It's still my birthday. Can I ask for something for you to kiss me?
They both look like they're in pain.
Well, he probably is, because it's at this point that he's realizing I need to break up with her because of this whole situation that triggered everything, which I can also go back onto the other side of things to say she didn't ask for this party. If you listened to her in the first place,
it never would have happened.
Nothing would have happened and we wouldn't be here. But then the movie would be over.
She was adamant over and over and over again that I'm not like other girls. I don't want to be celebrated. I don't want to go to this party. And they did it anyway.
They did it for themselves. They were like, well, we haven't had a party since Emmett and Bing Crosby.
Yeah, selfishly. And then they were like, oh, Alice, oh, Alice, oh, Alice. Alice, not a great friend. Gonna come out and say that. Not a great friend.
Well,
I mean,
continues to show that throughout the movie.
Ooh, she's bad.
I wonder if we're changing opinions. We're so sorry, y'all.
I don't know, but like, woo, she's bad. But okay. But here we are. We have this painful goodnight kiss. You know, I love you. I love you. Like, the only solution is to change me. You want me when I'm old. Don't you understand the depths of my feelings for you? Like, changing you isn't a solution. It's a tragedy. That's a good line, Edward. But he's not at school tomorrow. Okay, fine. We break up in the woods. This dramatic ass old man is standing there in the yard. Like, do you want to come walk with me? And then he breaks up with her in the woods. Okay. The way that he does it at the end, where he's like, if you could just promise me one thing, I was expecting him to be like, can we still be friends? Because like, that is the line that men throw right there. They're like, can you promise me that like, we could still fuck? Like, it's either promise me we can still fuck or like, promise me we'll still be friends. But he's like, promise me you won't be reckless, which is immediate like, all right, I'm going to be reckless as fuck.
Exactly. And I have two, like... And she never promises. She doesn't answer, actually. And when you're talking about, like, can we still be friends? And I know I'm flashing forward here. It was the same frustration. And I want to say it just so I don't forget. It was the same frustration that I have when we bounce, when we flash forward to her and Jacob and her saying, like, oh, it's not you, it's me. And then he interrupts her. And then she goes, are you kidding me? Are you going to give me the it's not you, it's me speech when not 3 seconds before she was in the middle of giving him the same thing?
Okay, so let's talk about getting upset. Let's talk about Bella being like, oh, Edward, you have to leave with your entire family? All right, I got to make up something to tell Charlie. No, King Charlie deserves so much better than you, Bella, and he deserves an absolute explanation. And then we have Edward, King of Edging. We have so many kings in this episode. King of Edging. I don't want you to come. She's like, what? That changes things. And then she's like,
I am so confused why she thought at any point in
she
time
would be going?
She would be going.
That's insane. That's an insane thought to have. And the only thing that I could think of is that she took it literally when he said we. Like, we, you and me, we need to leave Forks.
She used the we as in a relationship, not we as in I mean me and my family.
I mean, like, not you, Bella. Not you. That's fine. Go live your life, Bella. Take my soul. You're not good for me. You're not good for me. I'm not good enough for you. What did you say, Jess? That's not what he said.
I go, that's not what he said. Mm-hmm. That's not, yeah, she was spiraling in that moment.
Yeah. No, Edward, though, what the fuck, just leaves her in the middle of the woods alone.
Yeah.
And Bella, spiraling, ends up in the fetal position in the woods. No.
There's so many issues. I mean, she clearly never saw Beauty and the Beast because wolves in the dark. She never saw Look Who's Talking now because wolves in the dark. And then if you never saw those things, you're not thinking about the worms and the critters and the bugs going all in your little orifices and getting stuck in your hair as you're in the fetal position. I have been at my lowest of lows and I still didn't find myself in the dirt.
No, Absolutely not. She's just sitting there like, what was her thought? I'm just going to die now? Like, I don't...
Probably, because this is when there's a possibility starts.
That's my note. My note says, Wolf finds Charlie is too good. Charlie is too good to her in this moment.
That man did not wait your 24 hours. He was like, my daughter is not here. My daughter is missing. School was out at 3. It is nighttime. It is dark. She has been missing for 3 hours. We'll guesstimate because it is fall. 6 o'clock gives us kind of dark. It is pitch black. I'm not waiting 24 hours. It's 3 hours. I'm the sheriff. All hands on deck. Where the fuck is my daughter?
Yep. He's
King
amazing.
Charlie.
He's amazing. But Jess, you're correct because it is Hoa 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 season. So here, there's a possibility that Bella is depressed as fuck. There's a possibility that Bella's depressed as fuck, and she has nightmares. Now, Jess, you have pointed out to me, of not smart person, that...
Stop putting yourself down. That's not true.
No. You have pointed out to me that in the book it is made clear, because I've not reread the book. I did no research for this. This is vibes only.
No, we're vibing.
This is vibes only. This is vibes. But... you have made it clear to me that in the book, it is obvious that part of Bella's nightmares are her remembering her abduction and attack. But here,
at least to what I recall, please correct us if we're wrong.
But here, it is absolutely only shown that the nightmares are about being dumped.
Yeah, I think that is, if you were part of the general audience that never read the book, you're going to assume that these nightmares started after her, Edward breaks up with Bella.
Because we don't have them before this.
No, we don't have any flashbacks except at the beginning, and it wasn't even hers. It was Edward's flashback to when they were in Phoenix from book 1 and in Twilight. So there's no context there. Us as a reader are going to watch it, and it's those little things that you pick up on. You're like, oh, they added that for the reader. But so we knew. But if you had no context, you're going to be like, okay, here's this 18-year-old going through a bad breakup, and she's having fucking night terrors where you think she's dying, and her dad comes in every time to the point that he's not even sleeping in his bed. Did you notice this?
He's on the couch.
He's on the couch so he can get... He's everything. Bella, you better be praying that man and thanking that man being such a good dad. Because if I was your stepmom, and I wouldn't be because I choose to be childless, but I would not be a childless woman. I would be a happy stepmom shipping your ass off to Italy with your boyfriend. Don't ruin this man's life any more than you have. You're gonna drive him to have a heart attack.
You know what, Bella? I'm going to fuck your dad, and I'm going to give him a child that's alive. That's what we're going to do. Fuck you. You don't appreciate that man. Are you kidding me?
She doesn't deserve him as a... You know how many times you said, Sam doesn't deserve Dean as a brother?
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve Charlie as a dad.
No, because she sits there doing her There's a Possibility sad montage from October to March, staring down at Charlie doing all the fucking yard chores.
He brought in a Christmas tree for her.
I could not.
He chopped down that Christmas tree from their backyard alone. I love that man. He's such a good man. He's a good man, Savannah.
Good Lord, that man, all alone, all for her. And then, oh my God. And then he even tells her later on, he's like, I was in a bad place when you left with your mom. It was real sad. But
he's like, I've been there too.
I get it, but come on, Bella. You
gotta meet me halfway.
Yeah,
You're not even halfway, just something.
Something.
And this isn't to shit on mental health. We all go through our depression, but going through the motions of something. Just goes through it.
Because also, like, she's emailing Alice and Alice has deactivated her email because Alice is a bad friend. Explain to me why Alice, one, had to go. Why'd she have to go? Why did she have to go? Why couldn't she just stay and then just like live with Bella for the rest of the school year? Why did it have anything? I don't understand. 2, why did she deactivate her email knowing that Bella was going to be in a bad place? She's fucking psychic, right? Like, come on.
And then comes back later in the movie to be like, oh, I thought you died.
I thought you died.
Oh, what are you doing? Why are you hanging out with, why are you alive? What are you doing here? What are you, like, why are you hanging out with werewolves?
They're bad people.
They're bad. That you don't, like, excuse you. You have not once checked up on me from September, technically, when she got the day after her birthday, to March, and now you want to come back into my life, fuck with my mind, and be like, that's Carlisle's car, not answer a goddamn email, and then you want to try to tell me how to run my life? I was lucky that I pulled myself up from the depths of my despair that you and your family left me in.
Yep. Couldn't be me. Okay. But Bella's depressed. We have the plot of there are bears in the woods. There's hikers going missing. There are huge bears in the woods. This is where Bella clocks the motorcycles, and Charlie clocks Bella and is like, get the fuck out of here. Go to Jacksonville with your mom. Go get better. You need to get out of here. You're not getting better.
You're not going to heal in the place that hurt you.
Nothing. There's nobody like him.
Charlie Swan.
You can never make me hate you, because he's like, okay, girls' night. Go buy shit. I don't know. Do something.
But I love that he like knew his daughter enough. He like shop. Bitch.
You hate shopping.
You hate shopping.
You hate shopping. But okay, did you clock the movie that they go see when they go
Punch Face, Smash Face?
No, the one before this. This is with Jessica. It's The Dead Come Back.
Oh no, I didn't.
It's very funny. This whole ordeal just gives us Anna Kendrick ad-libbing, which is very funny, and Bella discovering that she can be an adrenaline junkie and she will see Edward. Now, Jess, you're a book reader. Is it actually Edward, or is she hallucinating?
I don't remember. I thought it was a hallucination.
Okay, that
I don't
makes
think it's
it
really
worse.
him. Yeah, I don't think it was ever him. I think it was, because I do remember I read the series. All the books were out, and so I had like went through them in like a week or something, and then I started again. And then I was like, honestly, it's been, when I tell you, like, it's been since the movie first came out that I read those books.
Ooh. Well, you know what? But she
but I'm pretty
Edward.
sure it's
it's a hallucination. Oh, that's worse. She sees Edward and he's like, don't do this. And then we get our emails. Alice, I saw him. If a rush of danger is what it takes to see him, then that's where I'll be. But here we have Bella, her pattern of using men to feel better with Jacob, because hot damn, that is all she does. She shows up to Jacob knowing that he has a crush on her, knowing that he will do anything that she asks, and is like, yo, let's fix up these bikes together. Let's do it right now. Like, are you kidding? Of course we have the where the hell have you been, Loca? Of course, it's iconic.
It's the best. It's the best. I have a question, because there is, like, we flash forward to a scene real quick, and we talk about Bella leading Jacob on. The scene where they're like holding hands and he's like, what, I can't hold your hand? And she's like, you can, but it means something different to you than to me. Have you ever held hands with just a friend?
No,
right? Okay. I was thinking that, and I was like, am I going I've never held hands with somebody I wasn't into.
No, that's an insane thing to say. Insane. Okay.
Poor Jacob.
I know.
Jacob's the victim and Charlie's the king.
I know. Like, all right, poor Jacob too, because he's got his friends, right? Again, my question, who throws pizza slices like that? Anyway, but Jacob makes her feel better and like alive, right? She's like, that hole in my chest is like almost healed by him. And this is again where Jacob is like, Bella, Why are you so fucking obsessed with age? It's fucking weird. I love it. I love it.
He calls her out the way Charlie calls her out because he's like noticing she's getting out of the house more and they're working on the bikes together. And he was just like, I mean, I know you and Jacob are friends, but that's being happy isn't a bad thing either. You're allowed to be happy. You don't have to be, emotions are a roller coaster. We're not always going to be happy and we're not always going to be depressed, and that's okay. But how about we lean towards the things that do bring us a little bit more joy in our life?
I like how Bella's head injury is never brought up again for the rest of this movie after she tumbles off this bicycle because she cannot ride a motorbike. She goes, boop, and hits the hell out of her head. I've never been cliff diving. I don't like the ocean. I've never been cliff diving. Looks like fun. I like the world building. Okay, we have the friends are changing, like Sam and his crew. Like, I don't know, they're so different. We're testing our bikes, we're hitting our heads. We are, though, we're stripping off our shirt to bandage a head wound. Let me tell you something. I had to, because they establish him as younger than Bella in this.
Yeah, he's like 16, I think.
Yeah. So when he did that, I kind of went, oh no, because it's weird. Because he is so fucking built. And the movies were like he carried them based on that, right? Like he had to put on all that muscle and stuff. It was like that whole thing.
Yeah. So it was originally going to be, this is a fun fact that I do know. It was going to be Michael Capone, who was also in One Tree Hill. He plays Felix in One Tree Hill, and they were going to give him Jacob, and then Jacob's agent or publicist, I think it was his agent. He's like, give us like X amount of time. And Taylor had to put on weight in muscle to prove that he can do the role. Otherwise it was going to go to Michael, and they were like, okay, well, let's see, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, because they didn't think that he could bulk up.
Oh, Hollywood. Have you ever in a situation with a guy that you are so hard friend zoning, have you ever looked him in the eyes and said, you're sort of beautiful? She leads him on so bad.
And it's like all like whimsical. It's so very like breathy. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. She says it very breathy. You're kind of beautiful. What?
I just can't.
I can say like a guy, like if you think of like in the most basic conventional sense, you can say like if you have a friend who's like, oh yeah, he's conventionally attractive, but I'm not attracted to him. I can see where other people can be, but I wouldn't be attracted to somebody who I've friend zoned. Otherwise, we wouldn't be just friends.
I know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Okay. But Bella's making a concerted effort to be with her friends, right? She goes to school the next day. No head wound, no scar, no nothing. And is like, yo, yes, there are bears in the woods. My dad has seen them. BT dubs.
After not speaking to them for months. And the friends call her out on it too. They go, so Bella's back?
Yep.
Which, like, fair. I understand people go through roller coasters with, like, different people go through roller coasters with friendships and stuff. But I also think, like, I think they would have all been like, could have said sorry. Like, we understand you were going through some shit, but like we had to, and Jessica says this, not me in the third person, Anna Kendrick, Jessica. She says like, we all had to, like, stuff was going on with my grandpa. Like, we all had stuff going on too. And we respect your distance, and everybody handles it, their depression very differently. But I was actually kind of surprised that you reached out, and I'm glad you did. And Bella has taken no responsibility of any of her actions.
Exactly. Bella doesn't acknowledge it at all. At all. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Let's go to the movies. Right? Let's go to the movies. Let's go see the worst action movie I can possibly think of and make it a group date after, what is his name? Mike asked her out.
Yay.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick was thrilled.
It's like, oh, great. But So it's Mike and Jacob ends up showing up and goes to the movie with Bella. It's a very funny scene of both their hands out, waiting for her to hold one of their hands. It's very funny. It's so very funny. High school. It's very great. Mike ends up storming out to go puke, but then we have the most fucking awkward part with Jacob ever, because he does the whole like, oh, why can't I hold your hand thing? But then he starts to be like, trying to ask her out and be like, come on. And then Bella does such a thing. She's like, don't do this. Don't ruin this. I need you.
Yeah. That's weird.
And I don't want to give you up. What?
She liked the
attention.
Emotional and like, yeah, it was like the attention and the emotional, dependency that she had with Jacob, but didn't want the physicality that comes with a boyfriend. She wanted the emotional boyfriend, not the physical boyfriend.
Yeah, and she like shoves her nose into his shoulder, and he's like, "I would never hurt you like he hurt you." But then, of course, like Jacob rages out, and he's like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" Ah! He like runs away, and we don't see Jacob for a hot minute after that.
And then talk about friends. Speaking of hot, when she's like, "Oh my God, you run so hot," and he's like, "Oh, it's a wolf thing," and then she's like, "Oh no,
it's a Jacob
thing."
You're
just friends. What, bitch? What?
It's
Bella, you're pissing me off.
Yeah. Okay. Especially though, because so we have this like we have these scenes of like you and Jacob got in a fight, like he's sick, like he can't come to school, like, all this stuff. So then Bella just like shows up at his house and he is just standing there in the rain. It's very funny. It's very funny.
You cut your hair.
You cut your hair. And he's like, "Go away, Bella. Go away." He says,
"I'm trying to protect you. You promised me. I promised I'd protect you. That's what I'm trying to do."
This whole scene, okay, we know, everybody knows Taylor Lautner is not a great actor. Taylor knows that Taylor Lautner is not a great actor. But this whole kind of part is a little painful. I know I hurt you, give me time, Bella, like it's me, but like I'm not a good kid. I was a good kid, but I'm bad now.
He's bad. That he's so good. He's trying so hard.
Here's the thing though. Here's what Bella says. Wild and out of pocket. Don't break up with me.
Yes.
Like, what? Don't friendship break up with? Yeah, you're not dating.
Because she, like, in her head had already clocked that they were emotionally dating. And she tried to say, like, she tried to even retract it because he looked
like,
at her
"You're my
like,
best
what?
friend."
Yeah. I have to recover I have to recover this somehow.
It's just, I can't. So they have that fight. Charlie clocks that they had the fight and is like, "I am here for you if you need to talk." King Charlie, he is communicative. Alice is not though. The emails are still unsent. Jake left me. Oh my God.
And not unsent like they're left in her, like the message failure.
Yeah, message failure. She can't get Edward to like come to her anymore because he's the king of edging and he does not want her to come. Hey, what can we say?
Honestly, if I knew he was in Tuscany, you'd find me over there if I was that resourceful, but we've already made note that she only wants to be resourceful when she wants to be. Like taking a 24-hour trip to Phoenix, Arizona.
Couldn't be me. Okay, this part in the movie is the only part in the movie where I was like, ooh, interesting. And that is where Bella wanders into the field, the dead field. I see the symbolism. And Laurent is there. And it's like all of a sudden, nothing. And then she looks and then he's there. And that is good. I was like, ooh.
Laurent's good. I think Laurent might be between him and Charlie. They might be the best actors in this.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, okay. But I want to point out that Bella is wearing her yellow JanSport here. The color tint of this movie is gold to reflect Jacob and his connection to the earth. She's also wearing a like gold, yellow, tan, a raincoat. But Anyway, it's gold. It's a gold thing. It's not blue like the first one. But Laurent is like, yo, what's up? Like, Victoria, like, here's the plot. Here's the, like, secondary plot, you know, the danger part of the plot that's going on. Victoria's after you, and she sent me, and, like, I'll murder you. You want to die? You want to die?
Yeah, and she'll make it slow and painful. I can at least make this really quick for everybody. And then, like, you have Bella with her Edward hallucinations saying, like, you need to lie better. And again, I don't think, I mean, that's like one of our mottos here on ACOFAE. It's like, lie better. And and her hallucination is trying to tell her that he's also a vampire. He can hear your heart rate and he can send you.
You're fucked.
No lie. Yeah. That was one of the things that I remember thinking, he's going to clock it. Yeah. There's no amount of lying you can do that's going to pass this.
Well, it doesn't matter because he ends up being eaten and killed by the wolves. And this is where Bella sees the wolves and she runs to her dad and is like, Dad, they're not bears, it's wolves. And Charlie is like, bet, my daughter said wolves, let's go hunt some fucking wolves. And Sam is like, Bella, are you sure? Are you sure? And Bella's like, fucking yeah, I'm sure. And I love that.
Charlie never questioned his daughter.
Let's put a little crown on this man right here. Charlie, 10 toes in, stands all business with Bella. All in. I love it. Jacob, though, throwing rocks, throwing rocks at our window. Honestly, I thought it'd be funny if he just like shot one right through the
like it was too hard, and
because he's still like a baby wolf, yeah. And he like shot one through the window. He's like, "Fuck!" Oh, that would have been really funny.
And you know what? Charlie would not have cared. He'd be like, "The fuck," and then he'd realize it's Jacob because he does have a little favoritism towards Jacob.
Yes, he does.
But like, he's also so grateful for not only does he like prefer Jacob, he's definitely team Jacob, but he likes what he does for his daughter and takes it like he's like, if anything, he took care of her when like she wasn't talking to me, she wasn't communicating with me, and if for that and I can get her out of the house, he appreciates Jacob for that, and he would just let them keep going whatever they're gonna do. But Jacob parkours up to her room. Just like, parkour! Pa, pa, pa. Can I pop up here for a sec?
Pa, pa. It's really funny, too, because he has this look of, like, male satisfaction when he notices the dream catcher on her bed. He's like,
I did that.
Hey, sup? Yeah.
Sup. It is a sup.
Sup.
Nod.
Yeah. Like so. But this again, Bella tries to manipulate him a bit here, because this is where Jacob is like, I'm sorry, like, things are really crazy. He does not have a shirt on. He doesn't have a shirt on. She grabs his hair, which I thought was like really fucking weird. Like she, like right here, she like grabs his hair and like, it's strange. But this is where Jacob is like, don't you remember the Cold One story? But like, he's alpha bound, so he can't tell her about like werewolves again. But this is the conversation that bothers me. Let's run away. Let's run away. You would do that? I would do that for you. Bella is trying to get out of town because Victoria is after her, and she's trying to find the easiest, safest avenue to do that. And Jacob is like, run away with me. And she's like, oh, I could do that.
She's always looking for someone to save her and never save herself.
Yep. Oh, it annoys the shit out of me. But I also like that Jacob is like, of course, the Cold Ones portion is the only portion that you would remember out of that story. Think a little bit harder, you bitch.
And he keeps saying, he goes, and it kills me because you already know. You already know. You already have all of the information. And God damn it. He was trying so hard.
It's like, ugh. But then we have our dream, and she remembers, and she shows up to Jacob's house. And I love where she just like storms past, and she opens the door, and he's sleeping. Like, it's very funny. But then we go outside, and Bella slaps the shit out of Paul, and then we have our wolf out roid fight. Very fun. I could never be I've seen the behind the scenes.
Oh, those green screens.
I've seen the behind the scenes. I could never be an actor. How?
Professionals. That is their calling. You'll never hear an actor who says they never wanted to do it.
Jacob comes out after Paul tries to wolf out on her. There's a little tussle. They take her to Emily. Emily is Sam's fiance. She is scarred because Sam wolfed out on her. That's a whole other thing.
I was gonna say, like, what was the situation there? Was he just like, was she close by when something happened, or was it he meant to punch the wall?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have questions about that part.
I don't know. Also, though, Bella throws out monster so fucking hard here. She's like, you're not the first monsters I've met. Whoa!
She was like, okay, you could have just done the creatures paranormal.
Yeah, like wolf, like they are animals. Like holy
Monster.
shit, the hard M. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, because then later, this fight that she has right after with Jacob, I was ready to slap the shit out of her. And Jacob is like, no, Bella, you're a fucking hypocrite. I'm not the right kind of monster. Because she's like, can you stop? Like, it's wrong. You're killing people. She assumes so fucking fast that they are killing people and that it's wrong. I can't.
And then she assumes it's them killing people after realizing she's already met Laurent. Laurent's been in the woods, which means Victoria's been in the woods, which, side note, Victoria's hair is incredible.
Amazing.
And it's like, hello. How dare you think it was the wolves this entire time? The wolves saved your ass.
Yes. And it's like she was like, but it's you. Like you're killing people. And Jacob has to be like, use your fucking brain for like a second. Like, no, we are not killing people. The only thing that we kill are the cold ones. Like, let's remember the myth. Come on. We're hunting Victoria. And I love how Bella is like, you know what? Like, no, though, actually, like, you can't possibly. Like, you could never possibly hurt a vampire. And Jacob is just like, we fucking already killed Laurent. Like, I can't with her attitude. It's condescending and like, is it racist against monsters? I don't know. Like prejudice. Yeah. Ooh, it makes me mad.
Yeah. And for her, the werewolves, and I'll say it as a pack, it's like, it's her rebound.
Yes.
They're her rebound for the vampires.
They are, because, that's so good too. Because she's like welcomed into them here.
Yes. They were like really like, and they, the pack teased, and this is before, because, Taylor's character, Jacob, is like the last wolf to like wolf out. So the pack is starting to be formed. They've already established like this pack mentality. That's where like you have the cliff jumping happening. They're all, Jacob even says like, I don't know. They're all on some shit and they're praising Sam all the time. I want no part of it because he doesn't know what's happening yet. But at the same time, they know that Jacob has a crush on Bella and they tease him. And, this is happening throughout the movie. And then when she as in Bella finally shows up with the wolves and goes to Emily's and they're all having pizza and having lunch and she's doing like scones and tea for them. Everybody's like, Bella, like they immediately welcome her. You're the vampire girl. You're the girl that our little Jacob's been crushing on, but we're so happy you're here. And they immediately embraced her. The way the Cullens didn't necessarily, I mean, yes and no. You have some pushback from some, but all of the wolves embraced her as part of their pack because they're like, oh, you're Jacob's girl? You're fine. We got you.
And the difference is too, like they're warm, they eat food, like you don't have to apologize for bleeding. That's weird. Like all of these like stark contrasts to the Cullens.
Well, and one of the things that we talked about over the weekend too was that Bella is both Edward and the Cullens' manic pixie dream girl, whereas Bella to the wolves is very much, she's Bella. She is who she is and everything that encompasses her. When she's sad, when she's depressed, when she's excited, she has a personality and it's not giving pick me. Whereas with the Cullens, everyone, and all vampires, really, it's, ooh, we can't read her mind. She's impervious to all of our skill sets. We can't tell. And that is the lore for them.
Yes. Yes. Okay. The lore here is that Bella is depressed again. She's depressed again. And that is because Jacob and the wolves are out hunting Victoria because, they're trying to keep her safe. And while that happens, Harry ends up having a heart attack and he dies. And Bella decides, you know what? I'm just going to, go big or go home. And I'm going to jump right off this fucking cliff and drown. I'm going to drown because Victoria's going to see me and she's going to come at me in the water. I'm going to freak out, hit my head and drown. And I'm going to have Jacob come and save me. Again, a wolf is going to come and save me. It makes me so freaking mad.
And all this time she's also she's doing it to get it's the adrenaline rush that comes with the Edward hallucination connection. So she's still leading Jacob on while still wanting to be close to Edward.
Yep. Also, though, Jacob is giving horrible CPR. Jacob. It's really bad. But then they drive home, right? And she's cold. This is the whole, it's a Jacob thing, right? They almost kiss in the car. They have this moment, right? But then, Alice is there and the car is there and she runs in. Bella ditches Jacob so fast. It's the whole 6, 7, whatever months. It's never happened.
Never.
Instant.
And you know it. And she doesn't even notice the car. No. They're going to kiss.
Yeah.
And Jacob smells vampire, not knowing who it was. He goes, I need you to, he's immediately in protector mode. And he's stay here. And she's like, what is it? And he's like, something doesn't smell right. I'm getting my little pricklies are prickling. And she's like, oh my God, that's Carlisle's car. And he's like, no, stay here. Could be a trap. So he's not even thinking don't talk to them initially. He's thinking this could be a trap. Because as of right now, we know they're not here in town. So I don't know what's going on, but don't move. She doesn't listen. But
he's the only one thinking.
He's the only one thinking. And I do think in that moment it had nothing to do with Carlisle and everything to do with her protection.
Yes. Okay. But it's not. It's Alice. Here we go. Alice. Oh, this is what we learned from Alice. Edward doesn't know that Alice is there. Edward calls in. He fucks off. Whatever. We get a phone call. Jacob comes in, picks up the phone call. Swan residence. No, he's not here planning a funeral. Over.
Okay. Kind of love it.
I know. Done. No, fuck you. I do like how he's he didn't ask for you.
It doesn't matter. But also, how long was Alice there for? Because she's a vampire. She can whoosh. She can whoosh in every room in that house in a matter of 3.5 seconds. So all of a sudden she's surprised that Bella is there. Bella, what are you doing here? What do you mean you're not dead? And why do I smell dog on you? If you whooshed the way you were supposed to whoosh, Miss Alice, you would have been out and none of this would be happening. Again, nothing would be happening.
Yep. But so right after that phone call, Alice is and has a vision. And he's like, oh my God, Edward wants to, Edward is fulfilling the Romeo and Juliet prophecy. He wants to die too. There's no meaning in this life without Bella. Jesus Christ. And I love this because Jacob is like, whoa. What the fuck do you mean? You're just going to go to Italy. What about Charlie? It's me. What about me? I am begging you, don't do this. And Bella's like, fuck you, I'm off. And then Alice is like, he might be right. Because when I take you, I could be an accomplice and then I'm fucked too. And Bella, not giving a single shit about Alice or her safety, is like, I don't care. Let's go. And then we have the most, I can't even describe these logistics. I don't know how I would start these logistics.
Okay, I can tell you how to start the logistics. So there is a 6-hour time zone difference from me to where they're in Tuscany. So it's me in Italy. So then we know that Forks is 3 hours behind me. So therefore we are at 9 hours behind Italy. If we are at, let's say, 6 or 7 o'clock at night, even if they took a private jet, which they didn't, I think they took Virgin Atlantic, so they had to wait for that next red eye, it's already gonna be noon, and we know noon as in the next day is because that is the highest peak of the sun, so everybody can see Edward. So they would have needed a private jet going at Mach speeds, sound of light speeds to get there on time, because it was already going to be noon when it was 3 a.m. Pacific time.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Like, thank you for doing the work, Jessica. Thank you for doing the math.
But it's either way. They got to Italy. Yeah. They got to Italy at noon, but it was like, it would have been like 3 hours, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I was very, I love a travel logistics situation. I do it all the time when you were in Germany.
Okay, so what happens? Edward's crashing out. Let's just call it what it is. Edward's crashing out. He's being dramatic and stupid.
Is he even eating? Because he looks gaunt.
He looks haggard. The man looks bad. This gold tint is doing nothing for him.
Dead.
Again, I just want to point out that Edward's sparkle has a sound and it's ridiculous. Okay.
How? I like, especially in the time that we've been given Vampire Diaries and the originals and Interview with the Vampire. At what point were we like, glitter? That's the vampire I'm attracted to.
I just don't know. Because I just finished Interview with the Vampire
TV
Jessica
show.
Lahore,
where she's like, joy.
All right. Where are we? Okay. Edward's crashing out. He's being dramatic and stupid. The Volturi say no. Here's the other thing. If the Volturi were like, no, we're not going to kill you. Your gifts are too valuable. Join us. Okay, where's my outfit? Do I get a chair next to you or can I hang out with Jane? Like, what are the details here? I'm all in. Like, this is what I wanted.
They're the Volturi. They're not going to, like, they're not taking pleasure. If you went to them and you were like, no, don't kill me, that is going to be their incentive to kill you. Yeah. Now that you're throwing yourself at them, they want nothing to do with your pathetic self.
Yeah, they're like, ew, no.
Ew, that is an ick. That is an ick. We don't even want that in the Volturi.
Yep, gross. But this is where our movie comes full circle. We have met up with our voiceover from the beginning. Bella's running. She's running. She has to save him from blinding everyone with his sparkle. Rah. But she does, though. His sparkle starts to make noise, and she goes, no, blah, and like throws him in.
Heaven in your eyes.
Heaven? No, you are a literal drug addict. Like, of course he would think that. But he said, I'm alive. No, I didn't do this out of guilt. I just wanted to die. Okay, that's better. That's better, Edward. All right. I lied and you believe me so easily. Why would you love me? I'm human. This dialogue is ridiculous. You're everything to me. And then there's a kiss. And then we have Jane. Jane coming down to break up the bullshit.
I would love a Jane. I would love them. You would get my ass in a movie seat so quick.
Woo! I'm all about it. Jane coming down to break up the bullshit. He sent me to figure out what the fuck is taking so long. Let's fucking go. And everyone is like, yes, Jane. That's right. We're about it. The most awkward elevator ride in the world. I love it.
I wish there was elevator music.
Yes,
it would have been so
little tinkling. Oh, it would have been amazing. We got Michael and Jamie and the third, I don't know who the third is, up on our thrones.
Oh, is it the, what did we call him? The Bill Compton from Timu?
Yes. Yes. So good. So good. So good. So good. And here, I mean, this is like the end of the movie, basically. But we have Aro, right? Michael Sheen, I sent you to get 1. You come back with 2.5. You bitch. This is amazing. I love this so much because we have Michael Sheen having fun, having his joy. He's just like, he's out. He's doing mannerisms. He learned this, I learned, through his daughter. His daughter gave him all the backstory about this character because he didn't know what he was going into. So
that's so fun.
It's so fun. So Aro like grabs, Edward's hand, and through that he knows every thought he's ever thought ever, which is like really cool and kind of a cool power. I like that. But then he's like, oh, Bella, oh. And then he's like, all right, let's see. And then he tries to go touch her and read her thoughts. And he's like, ooh, just as you pointed out, the vampires only want to see what she can do for like them as a species if they bring her in, because that is a unique gift. And I thought that was like an interesting kind of part where they're like, all right, let's test it. Pain Jane, what do you got? I love that she tortures the fuck out of Edward. Very fun to establish her power. Excellent. Doesn't work on Bella. I like that too. I like that, the blocking works. And I also like that they're like, all right, death.
Because we can't have this around.
Yeah.
Because she's a danger to us.
Yep.
Again, how is it going to impact us? And she does, and they do that until she's like sacrifices herself. Like, don't kill Edward, kill me instead. And now they're even more intrigued because they're like, a human? Like, do you not know what's happening outside these doors right now? They're celebrating the extinction of vampires. And now a human wants to sacrifice themselves for us. This is, again, curious. Arrow goes to, after Alice interjects also, saying, like, I see it in the future. She's going to be one of us, and I'm the one to turn her, and gives her hand to Arrow for him to read her mind and her future of, predictions.
And we're running in the woods in very Utah-esque outfits. We're running through the woods.
Yeah, very flowy, sparkly frolic through those woods. And that's it. And we see that. Oh, spoiler for you. We see that in another movie.
It looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it still does. But he, Arrow's like, okay, all right, we'll give it a beat. If you see it and I saw what you saw and you can't make that up, okay, we'll give it a beat. And so now they go to leave Tuscany, and not 2 seconds later, they're back in Forks. Hello? If you ever find me in Forks, Washington, and I leave for Tuscany, do not bring my body back. Like, just leave me there.
Yeah. I shout out to Heidi, the tour group that she brings in to Michael Sheen and Jamie Campbell so they can eat. Very cool.
Though I feel bad because there are kids there.
Yeah, there's kids there.
There are kids. I was like, ooh. I remembered it the first time, or when we watched it this weekend, I go, there are kids in that group? And then when I watched it again to make sure we can cover the episode, I go, ooh. Yeah, there are kids there.
Yep. Well, my note says, wakes up at home, logistics, what the fuck? Ed is there. Why?
And it's only been 3 days. Only been 3 days. Here is another logistics question that I have, that it's easy to do, honestly, a 3-day weekend from like JFK or Newark or something, because you can do a turnaround. I completely believe that. And on a commercial airline. Again, commercial airline. But where they are, Taylor flew private to make sure she got to the Super Bowl and got there in time. Everybody was like, the news was reporting it. News wasn't reporting if Edward can get Bella back to Forks.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, okay. You know what does make sense? When Charlie walks in the room and Charlie goes, "You're grounded." I mean, the voice of reason, King Charlie. Like, he's like God.
Pulling his hair out. What else does he have to do for this girl? He goes, because she did it again. That's the thing. She did it again. She fucked off to Phoenix and lied to him and spewed the shit that she did about him being a bad dad and doesn't want to be there and blah, blah, blah. How, you know, Charlie's like replaying those things that she said to him in Twilight. And like, and he goes, you fucked off for 3 days. Not even just like fucked off for 3 days. He doesn't even probably realize that she left the fucking country. Like 18 or not, like, she's not an estranged kid. She's still living under his roof. And this is probably all of like us saying like, we're the adults now, recognizing all these things that Charlie was doing, you know, probably at 18, you're like, she's totally 18 and she didn't know. But I digress there. Edward's hiding, and Edward even says, it's probably going to take a long time for him to forgive me.
Yeah, you know, he won't forgive me. Can you? And then we have just the sequence of the most painful kissing. I just can't. I just can't get over how painful it is. Not as painful as the Cullen family vote.
And also, what does it matter if they were voting for her to be a vampire anyway?
They have to do it. It's an order from the Volturi.
That was
like
okay.
But to your point, why are they voting? It's a fucking order. Like,
yeah, that's
they
what I
have
meant.
to
That's
do
what
it.
I meant. I was like, the order asked for the family to vote on it? No, like she has to be one. I didn't understand the family vote. But then all of this, Edward's like, can you at least give me 5 years? To what you told me off before we started recording, you said, you know how much easier? Now you have to be carded for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So she's not thinking. She's 18. Like, come on. Let's pull up Bryce and Danica. Like, make sure you're the right age. Make sure you can rent a car. Make sure you can drink. Make sure your ID has the right age on it. You don't want to be fucking stuck. You won't be able to rent a house. Like, you can't compel people in this universe, apparently. So, like, use your fucking brain. I cannot get over. I cannot. Oh, but then we have this conversation. It's like, you know, we'll do it after graduation to make it easier for Charlie, right? Easier for okay, whatever. But you know, Jacob, though, we have to have Jacob talking shirtless in the woods. This is our last scene. Okay, end of the movie. Jacob, he's in the road, and he stops the car. Okay,
This is the
Yeah, and he stops the car, and then the three of them go in the woods to talk. And Edward goes, I need to talk first. Okay, shut up, King, but fine. Edward goes, you know, thank you for taking care of Bella. And Jacob's like, yeah, because you weren't fucking here, you fucking loser. Like, yeah, I took care of your girl. I almost got your girl, and you better watch your fucking ass. Like, you know?
See, all of these things are the reason we both were Team Jacob. And one of the things that I told you, I go, why did it feel, and again, this is all pre-imprinting, you're made to feel so wrong, especially at like when this movie came out and when the books came out, that you weren't allowed to be Team Jacob. And it felt wrong to admit that you were Team Jacob too. And I think I have like one of like our throwback posts where you're like, yeah, and I was Team Jacob then and I'm Team Jacob now. And you'd probably triple down after watching this.
Yeah, because I do like too where Jacob's like essentially saying like, don't bite her. Don't bite. You can't bite a human here because then I'm going to fucking come after you. Like, that's the treaty. Yeah.
And isn't there something that earlier in the movie that Bella says, like, you can't do that? Yeah, because we were talking about it. And he goes, what do you mean we can't do that? We fuck Laurent up. And that's why he goes, you remember the treaty. What happens when you, and if you do that, you're going to break the treaty. And she's like, but what if I want it? And he's like, doesn't matter what you want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But then she hits Jacob with the most like cruel acid line you possibly could. She's like, don't make me choose. It's always going to be him. Like, it's him. It's always going to be him. Like, Bella, what the fuck? Like, how can, oh, to be young and reckless with men's hearts. But like, that is vicious, especially
knowing how he felt.
Yeah. And that you used the absolute fuck out of him to make yourself feel better for like a year. Like, that is so shitty. And then to just be like, no, sorry, the nanosecond the guy comes back into your life, it
like you said, it completely, everything that happened before that is completely erased. Negates everything that they worked up to in that moment.
Yeah, no, it's just, honestly, it's just the worst. It's just the worst. But then it's over, right? Because Jacob goes, and then Edward's like, all right, well, here's my condition. If you want me to turn you myself, my condition is forever. Belle's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want forever. And then he's like, all right. I'm pausing because it feels like I need to know. Because the way that Edward does this, he goes, Bella, and then it's like a 6-second pause. It's like eternal. It feels like my life is flashing before my eyes. It's the longest moment ever. Bella, 1, 2. It's so long. Marry me. Duh, duh, duh. That's the end of the movie. I know that must have been an experience in the theater. I know people must have just lost their absolute shit. I'm sure that was incredible and just amazing. I'm sure experiencing this in its height was a level of excitement that is probably not conceivable these days for like book events because they just don't hit the same. But wow, what a ending, what a sequence, what a movie.
It was just such a different time. And again, it was before streaming was what streaming is now. I'd love to I think I'd like to experience this in a group setting because I think we've seen things on socials or people watch this and not in a seriousness that was taken then too. Like how many times do we say like, Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca? And even spooky season, sometimes you're like, it's Hoa 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 season. I think I said that into a meeting and I'm like, I'm the chronically online person here, clearly. But I think it's just fun, and I think we've talked about on the podcast that this year we've had such a theme of like joy and fun. And as much as you might have heard us, maybe feel like we were shitting on this a little bit, we had so much fun. It was such a fun watch to do together. And I feel like this is how we have to watch it together all the time now. It was your first experiences.
I agree. It was fun. And let's talk about how you were able to watch this. Because I'm going to say there are probably a lot of people that still have their physical media of this. Hang on to that if you have it. Keep physical media. It's very important because Jess, and you watched this on Amazon and we ended up with the extended cut of this because the extended cut was cheaper to rent and cheaper to buy in SD, not in HD, than the like OG version, which is SD for $9.99 to buy on Amazon, not to rent. You can only rent the extended version for $3.99, $12.99 to buy that bitch. So I think there's a conversation to be had too about what version you're watching and the availability of that version. Because I got to tell you, I don't think anyone is going to shell out $10 to watch the SD, like standard version of this when you can pay less and watch more. Right?
Yeah. Cause you're like, let me get more content for my money's worth. And it's interesting cause I don't remember what the difference between this, how sometimes you can pick up like very specific background. I think we even talked about it in, our Bring It On episode where, we didn't necessarily see a director's cut, but we know that there's directors behind the scenes, bonuses if you bought the physical media that came with that copy. And it gave more context to some of the scenarios that were discussed. And I don't remember the theatrical cut enough to know the difference between this extended cut that we watched. And this is the only version that you watched.
Yeah, this is the only version that I watched. I can only think that they pulled back a little bit on the
6 seconds between
the 6 seconds
the proposal. And also, like, what a shitty proposal. Him just standing there and not even saying, Bella Swan, will you marry me? 1, 2.
Get in the dirt, sir. And where's my ring?
Yes. Earn it. Be on your knees. You know who's always on his knees? Rhys for Feyre.
Yep. Always.
Bow
always.
between his crown and his woman.
Always. Okay. Again, touching back on the different versions of things and our kind of weird promise when we were growing up that the things that we buy and like download, we will have forever. And of course, that is just, we're finding out that's not the case with licensing and things are being taken away. So again, the physical media aspect of it is very important. And I am then wondering, in the physical versions of these, there must be like, all the different versions with the DVDs, the little like, the director's commentary and the deleted scene. I'm sure there's just like a bunch of stuff there. So again, I kind of want to solidify this conversation then into when you are presented with multiple versions of a thing, what is the correct version to start with? Because if you are given, say, I'm just going to use the Hunger Games just because I've been thinking about it recently. If we are going to say the Hunger Games and we have a director's cut, an extended version, a theatrical cut, maybe you got one other cut in there for shits and giggles, where do you start and where do you go? I find that conversation to be very interesting. Especially because if you want to go toxic with it, when everyone was talking about like release the Snyder cut, like there's that part of it too. I just like that conversation because you can apply that to a lot of different fandoms and to a lot of different, we're talking about movies specifically. And that conversation too is, can be expanded on and be like, oh, well, are you even a fan if you didn't see like the, super ultra exclusive, like mashed up version that the director put out on like YouTube and, It becomes like maybe a divisive thing. I don't know. I find that this is an area ripe for conversation.
Yeah. And I feel like I feel like that's either an episode on its own or we just like kind of extend it into another conversation that we'll have so soon in a lot of different ways. And I feel like you said, and how you can apply it to so many different versions of media too. But with that being said, thanks for listening. Thanks for following. You can find us at ACOFAE Podcast on Instagram. We're also both on TikTok, ACOFAE Laura and ACOFAE Jessica. Thanks so much. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.